Kristi, Noem, and Tom Homan thought they were untouchable. They thought masked raids, terrorizing families and deporting U.S. citizens would go unchecked forever. Then Eric Swalwell stood up and delivered a warning that should terrify every official abusing power. Accountability is coming. You've got about a year. What you're about to see isn't just congressional theater. It's a promise of reckoning that exposes how far immigration enforcement has fallen from protecting Americans to terrorizing them.
Gentleman yields back. The gentleman from California is recognized. I yield back on my time. The gentleman from California is recognized.
One day we'll reconcile, Mr. Chairman, the richness of an Ivy League investment banker, Nepo congressman telling us that we need to get rid of the people who pick our food, wash our cars, build our homes, enrich our communities. We'll get to that. But today, this legislation is about making it easier for ICE to remove more of our friends and neighbors. And I guess the question I have is it really that hard for you right now? Is there anything that's getting in your way from just lawlessly going into our communities and detaining American citizens, terrorizing women as masked bandits who are not identified, run through the streets, chase people through fields, go into car washes, go to Home Depot parking lots? Like, are you having a difficult time just ripping people away from their families, and you think you need more abilities to do it? Also, quite interesting that you're asking for more legal authorities because you don't even follow the laws that are on the books right now. So what are we doing here, I guess, is my first question. But the American people are telling you, get the hell out of our homes, our streets, and our lives. And I want to play a video, Mr. Chairman, that illustrates that.
I was going to school.
When the spray hit Veraza on the side of his head.
Mama, you okay, Mama? You okay? Are you okay?
He's a citizen! He's a citizen!
They do not have a warrant. They forcefully open the door.
No resiste. What am I doing? Kevin! Hey, get on the ground!
I love you, let me go!
Get back, I will shoot you. You're gonna what? You're gonna shoot me?
I'm touching the car, leave me alone! Look what they're doing, he's sneezing!
The American people were promised that the most violent individuals would be removed. And instead, we've been given this. You even deported a child, U.S. citizen, fighting cancer. You deported Miguel Lopez, my constituent, who's been in the country for almost 30 years, worked at a local winery, sent his kids to the high school in my hometown. And he showed up to his immigration proceeding following the law, and he was picked up by ICE and sent to Mexico. And every Sunday night, his wife Rosa and their family look at an empty chair where Miguel used to sit for 30 years with his family. What did we get out of that? Who's better off because Miguel, who was following the law, is not in our community? But earlier this month, the American people from Virginia to New Jersey to Pennsylvania, all the way out to California, sent a message that a reckoning is on its way, that accountability is coming. And this lawlessness that's gone unchecked, a lot's going to change. The masks are going to come off. Officers will identify themselves. And Kristi, Noem, and Tom Homan, you should familiarize yourself with the four corners of this room. Kristi, Noem, and Tom Homan, get to know that witness chair. You're going to be parked in it for a long time. You're going to have a lot of questions under oath with the subpoena power. And I hope what you're doing is clean and can withstand the scrutiny that everyone on this side of the aisle is going to bring. You think we won't do it. You think you're invincible. You're wrong. Accountability is coming. You've got about a year, and I yield back.
What Eric Swalwell did in that committee room wasn't just political theater. It was a surgical dismantling of an immigration enforcement system that has spiraled into lawlessness. His speech cuts through the usual political noise to expose a fundamental question: when law enforcement operates without accountability, who's really being protected? The videos Swalwell played tell the story that statistics can't capture. Masked agents storming into homes without warrants, terrorizing families, detaining U.S. citizens. This isn't the targeted removal of violent criminals that was promised to the American people. It's systematic intimidation that treats entire communities as enemy territory. When an agent asks a U.S. citizen for papers while pepper spraying children, we've crossed a line from enforcement into abuse. Swalwell's most devastating point wasn't about policy. It was about accountability gaps. He highlighted Miguel Lopez, a man who followed immigration law for 30 years, worked legally, sent his children to local schools, and showed up to his immigration hearing as required. His reward: deportation that left an empty chair at the family table every Sunday. This case exposes the cruel absurdity of a system that punishes compliance while claiming to target lawbreakers. The congressman's promise of congressional oversight represents more than political posturing. It's recognition that executive power unchecked becomes executive tyranny. When Swalwell tells Noem and Homan to familiarize yourself with that witness chair, he's invoking Congress's constitutional duty to investigate and expose government overreach. The subpoena power he referenced isn't a threat, it's democracy's immune system responding to institutional infection. The broader implications extend beyond immigration policy. When government agencies operate in shadows, using masks and refusing identification, they're not just avoiding accountability to immigrants, they're avoiding accountability to all citizens. The same mindset that justifies terrorizing families at car washes can justify surveillance, harassment, or worse against any community deemed problematic. Swalwell's warning about electoral consequences reflects a democratic principle: power derives from consent. And when officials abuse that power, voters can withdraw consent. The recent elections he referenced weren't just partisan victories. They were accountability mechanisms working as designed. Democracy survives when citizens can fire officials who exceed their authority. His direct challenge to Noem and Homan, telling them to get familiar with the witness chair, represents democracy's attempt to reassert civilian control over law enforcement. This isn't political grandstanding, it's constitutional governance in action. When executive agencies operate beyond legal boundaries, Congress must step in with oversight, subpoenas, and public hearings that expose abuse to democratic scrutiny. This moment crystallizes a choice every democracy faces: whether law enforcement serves justice or serves power. Swalwell's speech suggests we're dangerously close to the latter, where enforcement becomes a tool of political control rather than public safety. His promise of accountability isn't just congressional oversight. It's democracy defending itself against authoritarian drift. The empty chair metaphor resonates because it represents something larger than one family's loss. It symbolizes communities fractured by fear, children growing up without parents, and the human cost of treating enforcement as warfare. When we measure immigration policy's success only in deportation numbers, we miss the social fabric being torn apart in our own neighborhoods. If we care about constitutional governance, Swalwell's challenge demands response. Not partisan cheering, but civic engagement that holds all officials accountable to law, not ideology. Democracy requires vigilant citizens who understand that unchecked power, regardless of party, threatens everyone's freedom. The question isn't whether immigration law should be enforced. It's whether that enforcement will happen within constitutional boundaries or outside them. Swalwell's speech draws that line clearly. Accountability through transparency, identification of officers, respect for due process, and congressional oversight. These aren't radical demands, they're basic requirements for legitimate government authority. When we abandon them, we abandon the rule of law itself.